Hey everybody, Mario here, otherwise known as Y2 on the interwebs, and this is kind of a special blog, I guess. So, I just want to cut to the chase. So, a few days ago, I was checking out a blog about the New 52 from another vlogger on YouTube, and she basically said some things that, well, to put it mildly, I did not agree with. Her assessment of the New 52 did not agree with it at all. And I did respond, and I thought that would be the end of it, but I just, days later, and here I am, just restless, and I just feel like I have to respond, like, with my own vlog. So here I have some of the points that were said, and what I feel are my counters to those points. I've shared my thoughts about the New 52 before. I did that the first time around with my, vlog that I basically did on the fly, and I was pretty much more or less misinformed, or I didn't know enough about the New 52. I just basically went with the heart with that one. And then I posted another blog about a month later, basically saying my updated thoughts on the New 52 once I found out a little bit more about what series was going to come out and why they did it and all that fun stuff. So I guess we could say that this vlog is not just a response to some of the negative statements about the New 52, but I guess it's my assessment of the New 52 several months into it. First of all, the art style in Western comics, or specifically in the New 52, not everything's a winner. Not every bit of artwork is going to be a winner, but by the same token, there are some really stellar standouts of artwork. J.H. Williams' Batwoman comic series, Greg Capullo in Batman, Ivan Reis in Green Lantern. I've said before in my reviews just how amazing the artwork is. And I happen to like realism in my comics. Yes, even despite the fact that they are about superheroes, I like some realism in my comics. So I don't mind the details. So the art style is just fine. Unless you're Rob Liefeld, then it's never fine. Never fine. I hate you, Hawking Duff, so much. Another point of contention with the New 52 detractors is the sexism that's running rampant in the New 52. I'll give you this. Catwoman and the first couple of issues of Red Hood and the Outlaws with Starfire, not doing the women's any favors there. I will admit to that. In fact, they weren't doing Batman any favors there in the first issue of Catwoman. But you know, let's expand a little bit more in the entire 52 run. Supergirl doesn't look that bad. Supergirl's a pretty good series. Wonder Woman didn't really change her look. Now she's wearing more black instead of blue. But she's kicking major ass. I mean, I call her the Goddess of War. Because it reminds me of God of War, because it's such an ass-kicking comic series. Birds of Prey, that's an all-women team, and they don't have themselves rubbing asses into guys to get information. They beat them up. It's a good series. I even went and took a second look at Red Hood and the Outlaws. And once you look at the later issues, you realize that they gave Starfire some death. Now, will this make me buy Red Hood and the Outlaws? No, probably not. But at least I know that there's some hope, and that the creative team will make changes if enough complaints are heard. So, 2 comics are really offensive. And even then, one's starting to fix itself. Where's the rampant sexism? I'm not seeing it. The other complaint that I heard was that there aren't enough female writers and artists. So, this is true for now. But Gail Simone, Amy Reeder, those are a couple examples. And from what I've been told, more writers and artists of the female presentation are around. I mean, all it takes is just someone to say, hey, we're tired of this creative team that's working on this series, let's bring them some fresh meat. And if it happens to be man or woman, so be it. Even if Marvel and DC are not great about female creative teams, check out the indie comics, check out Image, check out other comics. It's more than just Marvel and DC. But I'm straying, so let's get back to the 52 topic. I totally agree with what was said about Dan DiDio, which is one of the guys that was basically like, oh, what do you want us to do? What do you want us to do? There aren't enough women writers? Who do you want us to hire? Yeah, that was kind of a dick move on his part, and I've said that before in previous vlogs, I totally agree with that one. Continuity. I will admit that continuity hasn't always been a very good thing in comics, and despite the fact that in the New 52 they promised us that things would be fresh and new and start over, that only applied apparently to some comics, but to comics like Batman and Green Lantern, it basically was just a continuation of the previous story arcs that happened before the reboot. So it does leave a lot of confusion, and I understand some people are frustrated, but for the most part, I don't really see the confusion. Superman was easy to follow, Justice League is easy to follow, Batman and Green Lantern, sure, you have to do a little bit of homework and back reading, but the storylines are easy to follow, and honestly, you can even jump in without having to know what came prior to the New 52, and you would still enjoy them. Batman with the Court of Owls storyline is freaking amazing. To be perfectly honest, continuity has never been a set-in-stone thing in comics anyway. So really, what the New 52 did was just streamline stuff. I mean, yes, the continuity's still a little wibbly, but not as much as it was pre-Flashpoint. Does anyone remember Final Crisis, the Multiverse, Earth 2? Good luck trying to figure all that out. Now you don't have to, thanks to the New 52. The only thing you have to worry about is just the current continuities going on right now. Justice League is pretty awesome. Some stories takes place in the past, before the present time in the New 52. Some stories are happening in the present time in the New 52. But they're all tying stuff together. And that's what they're doing. They're bridging, they're setting foundations for this new universe. So that way, we don't have to worry about it, or timeline isn't an issue. At least until they come out with another Crisis crossover 5 years down the road. And also, I don't know where people are getting this idea that everybody universally hates the New 52. That's just bogus. I, for one, don't hate the New 52. And it was easier for me to love DC Comics and the New 52 because it took care of that little continuity problem that I just mentioned a moment ago. I wanted to get into DC Comics years ago, but I just couldn't because there was just way too much story to follow. I couldn't do it. It was impossible. For me to even do it would have cost too much time and money. In fact, most people that I talk to on YouTubes, on the internets, and in person, they love the New 52. This is basically a godsend to them and to me. It's given new life to a medium that's kind of dying. It's given new life to a company that hasn't been doing well against a certain other company for years. The January sales, the top 100 comic sales in January, DC swept the top 10. The entire top 10. It was DC Comics. So, basically to say that nobody likes the New 52 is just a really misinformed statement. Quite honestly, some characters needed a fresh start. Superman, Wonder Woman, and especially Aquaman. Superman, I couldn't get into him. I thought he was too much of a freaking annoying-ass Boy Scout. Wonder Woman, well, between being tied up with her own lasso and not being a female Superman, we really didn't know what she was about. We're starting to get an idea with her own proper storyline, her own take, and a brand new origin story, which makes a crap ton more sense. And Aquaman, well, dude, seriously, he really needed this reboot to happen. I don't know the full details about the downfall of Aquaman, but let's just say that I heard there was a mullet, a hook hand, and or a water hand involved, and some pretty piss poor storylines. Look at the New 52 version of Aquaman. Look at him. Read the series. Tell me he did not need this restart. Tell me that. Because I will tell you that he most certainly did. Superman is being vindicated in Action Comics. Wonder Woman actually has a series that more than just those bondage fetishes will want to read. Now, one thing I want to quickly address is the next point, which I don't think should count as a point, is the whole thing about Wally West. But before I get into it, location change. Did not think that would work. I would say a good portion of these complaints are Wally West. No Wally West? Screw the 52. No Wally West. Hey, Wally West! Oh my gosh, whatever will I do without him? First of all, for those of you who don't know who Wally West is, prior to the New 52, I do believe he was the Flash. Until Barry Allen mysteriously came back from the dead, but he was actually Kid Flash beforehand, and then when he took on the mantle of the Flash, he became the mentor to Bart Allen, who was Kid Flash, and it's already confusing, isn't it? Anyway, but most of these people probably know Wally West in the show Young Justice, which is basically this decade's version of Teen Titans. I'm not trying to knock or call out Young Justice fans or anything like that. The cartoon's pretty cool enough. I mean, it's an interesting animation style, and it's a good show. That being said, I just want to go back to the continuity point that I spoke of earlier, you know, about how things are new again and how people are younger. And obviously, with Superman and some of the core figures of the DC Universe being younger, the ones that were already young are either non-existent, in limbo, or not superheroes yet. It kind of happens when you start something over. Some things need to be scrapped or put on hold. In fact, I don't know why Wally West is a reason to hate the New 52 or discard it. It's like me going to a burger joint that I love, that I treasure so much, and then when I ask for a burger that is not served there but somewhere else, and they tell me, nope, we don't have it out yet, or it's discontinued, I'm like, well, screw that. I'm never coming to this restaurant ever again. Kind of sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I'm not knocking on these people. I'm just saying that they shouldn't discard something that is genuinely awesome because one beloved character isn't in it. I would probably add the word yet. Isn't in it yet. Give it a few years. Give it some time. Wait, let's let this new universe flourish first. Build its foundation. Build the core storylines with its core characters. Let a little bit of time go by. And then we'll see what happens. Once the characters get older, a little bit older, a little more mature, maybe the younger characters will start showing up again. This universe is different. It was in flux. Now it's starting to settle. Now things are starting to build. Characters, continuities, timelines, they're starting to build up now. We just need to give it some time. I'm pretty sure this is not the last we'll see of Wally West. Okay? He'll be around. Give it some time. And lastly, I just want to point out, for those of you that are detracting the New 52 and stuff like that, well, I just want to bust out a key, some would say, final piece of evidence for the New 52. Remember how I mentioned Batman in the Court of Owls storyline? Yeah. This right here, this entire story arc that's going on so far, based on what has to be DC's most beloved comic character, it's amazing. It's great. They introduced new villains. They introduced a new story. They gave a writer leeway to do whatever he wanted with Batman in this universe. And it's working fine. This is all the proof you need. Batman. DC New 52 Batman. Your argument is invalid. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to say my piece, and I wanted to just step up in favor of the New 52. And I know I'm not the only one. Before I decided to do this, I spoke to a lot of people. My own subscribers, friends of mine, new readers. And for the most part, they enjoy the New 52. In fact, many of them agree that they probably wouldn't even be reading DC Comics if it weren't for the New 52 happening. I don't want to start anything, any beef, and I'm pretty sure that vlogger that said those things probably won't even watch mine. But that's not why I did this. I did this because the New 52 really is a good thing. Maybe it won't save the industry from dying, but it certainly helped it. And I feel like in the long run, time and history will prove me right. And that's why I did it. That and the fact that most of my blogs center around the New 52 reviews that I do. That's why I had to do this. It's not because I wanted to start something, it's just because I wanted just to say, hey, the New 52 isn't bad. In fact, if you give it a chance and put some of these preconceived notions to the side, you might actually agree. If nothing else, you might actually realize that this is how it is. For better or for worse, the New 52 is the status quo in the DC Universe. And I, for one, welcome it. Because this is what got me into DC. That and the fact that Marvel's just obsessed with crossovers. But that's another story for another vlog. Alright, well, that's all I have to say. So, as always, live nerdcore. Y2M out.